So this is from the Daily Mail. There's a vaccine that spreads immunity by passing itself on like a virus. Researchers investigate potential for self-spreading needle-less inoculations in the wake of COVID pandemic. This sounds good, but then you think about it for a second and you're like, wait a minute. You're going to be passing a... It seems like they're going to be passing a virus around. Let's see what they say. What if vaccines were designed to spread from one person to another, just like viruses themselves, rather than be injected into each individual or trigger an immune system response? Around a dozen research institutions in the U.S., Europe, and Australia are already investigating the potential of self-spreading vaccines in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. To make transmissible vaccines requires finding ways to package the virus or bacteria so it can be easily transmitted from one person to another, but without causing serious illness. That seems like a trick, huh? Two options are now the focus of research. The first is to engineer in the laboratory a very mild form of the virus you want to protect against. It still has to be contagious enough to infect large populations rapidly, to prime immune systems to produce infection-fighting antibodies that can see off the actual virus. But weakened, so it's got to be strong enough to create an immune response, but it has to be weak enough so that it does not result in anything like the same level of illness as the full-strength virus. The other option is to package some of the DNA from a dangerous new pathogen inside a relatively harmless but highly contagious virus, such as those that cause the common cold. Exposure to the fragments of DNA inside the harmless virus as it spreads through the population would prime the immune system to be on the lookout for the real, more serious pathogen without causing, it is hoped, any severe illness. With either strategy, vaccines would only need to be given, either injected or potentially inhaled, to small groups of people from different parts of the country, who would then transmit the vaccine to those in their local community. This sounds creepy. Scientists have already proved this approach can work. In 2000, researchers in Spain tackled a deadly virus among rabbits by injecting 70 of them with a transmissible vaccine and returning them to the wild, where they quickly passed it to hundreds more, thereby halting the outbreak. Well, if it's good enough for a rabbit. So there you have it. Is that the future of vaccines? I don't know. I mean, does it sound any crazier than the regular vaccine? Does it sound any scarier? Put it that way. Does it sound any scarier than regular vaccines? I don't think so. What do you think?
Oh, immediately when I see that they're creating these viruses inside of a lab and you're going to like transmit, I'm worried about it. How can I trust the science on something like this? I am now very healthy and skeptical of stuff like this.
I am too. Well, there you go. There's your new thing. You won't have to get a jab. They'll just give it to somebody else, and then you got no choice. You're getting it. You're getting the vaccine. You got no choice. Hey, we're doing stand-up in Houston and Dallas on the 24th and the 22nd of March, and we're doing stand-up in Los Angeles March 4th and 6th. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our live shows.